Hey there, YouTube! So, you've seen bits and pieces of my D90 build in the background of some other videos, and I started out one direction and completely 180 to a new direction. I used a flat, kind of a light green, army green, light green color, and there's a Heritage Edition D90 that I've seen online, a real one, that was that color, and it had a unique grill. It was color matched. All the headlight surrounds and door handles and stuff were all color matched. And I found a very similar color to that, but it was a matte finish, and I painted the body that, and I didn't really like it. It wasn't quite as bright as the factory color, and it was just flat. There was no semi-gloss or anything to it. So I wasn't real happy with how that came out. I mean, it came out nice and even, the finish, but it wasn't the right color for me. So I spent all last night on the internet looking at Land Rover pictures, because I don't have anything here in Texas to base it off of. There's very few D90s that I've ever seen in first person. So I was looking around and I found some ideas, and I fell in love with one that I saw that was red, and one of the few actual D90s I've ever seen in real life here was a red color. All the ones that they had here in the States for sale, they had some kind of flashy Range Rover kind of wheels, and they were a little silly. They marketed it as a high-end luxury, BS. It's not a hardcore 4x4 like they are to the rest of the world. So all the ones that I've seen in the United States were a little gaudy. But I found one base model, just the picture that I've loved, and it was red. So here we are. I've got red, and it's shiny, which is a new act for me. I'm about to paint the roof white, and it's not going to be an off-white. It's going to be a white. It's going to be glossy. And that's kind of going to be the theme with this. It's going to be the base model, European, South African looking type Range Rover Defender, or Land Rover Defender, sorry. D90, it's just going to be glossy red, glossy white roof. I'm going to get the 1.55s. I know some people are going to be disappointed with that, but I'm going to run 1.55s on it. I don't know. I can't get away from it. The only truck I've got that looks right with 1.9s is the Land Cruiser. I know I've been told countless times that the 1.9s fit this better, and I've got 1.9s on it right now, but I'm just not feeling it. I think it needs a little bit more tame, smaller looking tame tire and wheel combo, and I can't get that on the 1.9. Even with the stock dirt grabbers. I mean, they are a pretty tame tire, but it just looks like way too much wheel for me. I just like all my rigs to be similar, and 1.55s that look works for me. So I'm gonna do the 1.55 white Landies. I'm gonna do the white roof, and I have done all of my grill and stuff in gloss black, and you see how I've kind of painted it here. They all have little rods out the back. I just pressed them into this piece of cardboard so they wouldn't blow away out in the wind when I was painting it. All my vents, my hood vents, my side fender vent, my headlight surrounds, my grill. And I did want to share this with you. The windshield. I've seen a lot of folks that build these, and they don't paint the windshield at all, and that just bothers me, because you really need to take the time. I mean, in my opinion, not by any means a rule for any of this, but the Land Rovers, the entire windshield is not clear. You have these vents below the windshield, and those are part of the metal windshield frame. Your actual window is high, and it sets higher than the side windows. So I mask off both sides of the windshield, the actual window itself, and then I paint both sides of it to color match. And that to me, that just seems how it's supposed to be done. But you know, I mean, there's no wrong way to do it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own way of thinking. So whatever. I mean, it is not easy. It's easier just to leave it all clear, or whatever you want to do. But to me, that's part of the scale. The scale aspect of it is I have to paint that, and then even the lip around the window, all the windows, I'm gonna do in a satin matte black. And we'll just let this one get banged up on its own. Also, I am holding out. I am going to do the RC4wd Drive roof rack, the full rack. I've always wanted that. On my D110, I thought it would be a little bit too heavy, so I didn't get one for it. It's just a massive truck, and that full rack is going to, I mean, it looks like a boat. Out on the rocks, it's all over the place. So, for that, I'm going to give the D90 a shot. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this. I'm going to do some custom interior stuff. I've been test fitting and looking at my interior tray. And I'm not going to run the rear seats. And I'm thinking about adding custom front seats because I hate how generic and kind of plain these look. It looks like a louvered vent. It doesn't look like an actual seat bottom. So I will be cutting these off, and I'm going to make my own floor for the back. It's not going to have seats at all, so it'll look like something different. And I'm not sure where I'm going to go, what direction I'm going to take the front, and I'm not sure on what color I'm going to do the interior either. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and do the roof white. Now, I did want to say this is only 2 coats of Rust-Oleum Gloss Regal Red. Now, they did have another red, but it was a little bit bright, a little bit lighter. Almost like my Snap-on box over there. It was kind of an orangey red. So I did choose this Regal Red. Now, I know I was gonna hold out and go to local hobby shop and get some Tamiya paints, and I painted my Scania in Tamiya red finish, and I don't know, I'm not that good with Tamiya paints. They're so thin. They require a lot more patience than I have. This is 2 coats, like I said. 1 light coat, which was pretty consistent. I didn't leave very many light spots around, and the second coat I came back and laid it on real thick. I got in all the little nooks and crannies that you have to do with these D90, D110 bodies, like up here on the hood hinges and up under the edge of the roof. Stuff you have to pay special attention to. And yeah, I got a nice glossy finish. But yeah, I'm gonna do the white roof, gloss white. I've got to finish bagging up the body. I am going to, I've kind of picked a vision for this roof. I spent all night last night on the internet looking at real Range Rovers and these RC4wd Drive D90s, and sorry, I keep saying Range Rovers, Land Rovers. Growing up, all we had around here was Range Rovers. We didn't have any actual Defenders. I've seen very few in real life. The few that we had here in the States that I've actually seen growing up were in the mid-90s. They were red. So that's part of what led me to this color. But they all had soft tops. I had never seen any with top with the windows and the top edge, and that's neat. That's not something that we see around here a whole lot, especially in Texas. I mean, but I've been watching a lot of videos. I watched there's a YouTube channel that I watch. It's 4x Overland. It's a British fellow who's real big into overlanding. He lives in South Africa. He's always doing stuff. He's got Land Cruisers, and he's always showing Land Rovers and Defenders and stuff like that. He did a series or a couple videos about comparing a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon to Defender 110, which I thought was really interesting because they're very similar. I didn't realize how much in size they're similar. the D110 actually looks smaller than the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited in real life, which helps put my RC into scale a little bit, because like a lot of people have been saying that my 1.9s are the right size for this, but I keep wanting to run 1.55s because they just look right to me. I like the way they look better. But the Land Rover Defender is actually not a large vehicle, even though it looks like it. And it's hard to tell because there's no consistency in RC scales. The Toyota Hilux there in the background, those trucks in real life are tiny. I've seen those. My dad had a '87 Toyota pickup. It was the first year of the independent front suspension, so, or whatever year that was, but it had the independent front suspension, and it was tiny. I was probably 12 or 13, and I had to bend my knees to sit in the passenger side. I was a pretty tall kid, but you know, I'm like 6'4". It would be almost it'd be awkward to drive that for a very long time with a standard transmission. Just saying, but it's hard to really grasp a scale to all this. If the Land Rover, I think the D90 body and the D110 bodies are actually pretty close to the Hilux body as far as scale goes, because they, after seeing them next to a Jeep Wrangler, a new JK body style Jeep Wrangler, they're smaller. They don't have the fenders. They don't have the axle width. They're different. And seeing this next to the Toyota high-lift body, that's probably pretty close to the same scale. So props to RC4 Drive for that. I wish they would have kept the Cruiser in the same thing, because the Cruiser is not a huge thing. We had one of those growing up too, and I was really little, but I've got pictures of it, so I can kind of gauge the scale of it. The Gelande 2 Cruiser is just a little bit bigger than it should be, but it fits the chassis. Yeah, you understand why they do that, but it is what it is. I've picked the tire. I'm going to do the RC4 Drive Mudslinger. If I can find one. I've got one. Oh no, I put it in the back of the Hilux back there. It's a little shorter than what's on there, and a little bit narrower, but it's not as narrow as the factory tire that comes on the Gelande 2 kit. I've seen a couple Gelande 2 D90s with them, and I think it's the right size. It just feels right. But I'm going to go ahead and take this bad boy outside before it starts sleeting and snowing like we're supposed to get in the next couple days. And I'm going to paint that roof white. Got to bag up the rest of the body, and then we'll see what it looks like. Well, the weather's already changing here. It got a little colder out there than I thought it did. So the white finish isn't very smooth. It's got a few little areas of dimples and things like that, just from the paint being so cold. If I can get it to show on camera or not. See, there's a little bit behind the window. The other side's got it a little worse. Still very wet. I just came in and gave up. I did get one area of overspray. Alright, so I got the overspray spot off. It dulled the gloss just a little bit, just in a small area here. I used a little goof off. So now I've started masking it back off. I'm going to go ahead and try to do it again tonight. It's a little windy, but this is Christmas Day Eve now. So the ice and snow and stuff hadn't made it down here yet. And it's not too terribly cold. It's probably my last chance to paint. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, and we'll see what we get. I just want to show you how I bag these up and tape off for doing the roof separate color. I just use old Walmart bags, lots of blue painter's tape. It's really not hard. You tape off your windows from the inside. I tape the one piece from the top inside the windshield, and then I do the rest across and connect to my side pieces. These are all nice and straight, so it's not hard to get a good edge. The back's a little tricky. I found with these, I just I'll take a piece of tape, a small piece, and scissors, and I'll just cut a rounded edge. And I'll do it a few times till I get one that fits pretty perfect. It's not real difficult. Hopefully I won't get any more overspray through. That was what happened last time. My tape had a little lump in it, and some of the paint blew down through there. So I'm gonna hit it with some sandpaper and take it outside. Alright guys, I think that about takes care of it. I didn't mess anything up. So this is my first time using this Krylon Cover Max paint, and I'm not real impressed. I would have just bought the same Rust-Oleum like I used for the body, but they didn't. The Walmart I bought it at was out of that paint in white, so that was the only one they had in gloss white. So I thought I'd give it a shot. It was a little, it's one of their premium paint primer all in one, blah blah blah. Yeah, it sprays pretty thin, and it's slow dry, and it's like I did it the first time, it spiderwebbed pretty bad if you put it on too thick. So not recommended. This Rust-Oleum, like I said before, this 2 coats, real nice, thick, even, doesn't want to mess up on you. So I like that stuff. I've used that type of paint on several other projects throughout the years. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. It's a little choppy since I've broken it up over 2 days, and it's been the holidays, so hope it makes sense. Try to edit it. But anyways, next episode we will either start on the interior, or we'll go ahead and do the windows, and hopefully not screw up any of our edges. But thank y'all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for more to come.